Hello, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. My co-host Tina Bird's here today, and she's okay for today, which is a good thing. So I'll let her say hello before we start and get into this. Greetings, Tina.
Greetings, Tommy. Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Brad here from Southampton in the UK, ET girl, and it's good to see Tommy again this week. Was late last week due to a power cut, due to the power station having an overload. They was having operational issues, which I sent Tommy a picture of. But it's good to be back, and we've got a good show for you this week. So we look forward to cracking on with it, Tommy.
Well, everybody, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy day. So many things are happening now. I'm going to go into a lot of things. I don't know how much Tina wants to get into some of the things I'm going to get into, but there's a serious problem happening, and I call it mind programming at every level, conditioning people to a fake scenario of what's going to happen. Uh, and more people are trying to prove that we're going to go into this beautiful age. They're going to eliminate all the child cases, child sexual sales, and everything in the next week. They're going to release that as well. Well, I hope they do. They said all the corporations are under charges right now. The big corporations that were dealing with children, and I'm talking about the biggest corporations in the world. So we'll see if that happens. I don't know how much of it I believe. When it happens, I will believe it then, but not before. I mean, how many years ago did they say Hillary Clinton was involved with all that? And was anything ever happened after that? No. So this is supposed to happen. They said the evidence is there. It's going to be all released within the next week. Now, I'm talking about the biggest child sales going on the planet today. What's that have to do with aliens? Well, I'm going to say this. Years ago, I'm talking over 30 years ago, when they came out with indigo children and star children, the government was, I shouldn't say certain things, but certain people were abducting children with blonde hair and blue eyes. It took a while before they realized children didn't have to have blue eyes to be a star child. But I was dealing with blue star children, which is a different entity within itself. And nobody can talk about that because I don't know anybody that was really dealing with them. I mean, indigo children were working at a certain level, but the idea of where they came from, what planet, what universe, what system were they actually reincarnated from. So, the idea of walk-ins and all that stuff is really big right now. And I mean, people like Caroline Corey makes it sound really good, which it is not, people. Anything you hear about the UFO world, anything is not beneficial to the human race yet. Not one positive thing was ever given to us or helped us. And I just say, look at history. Oh, aliens were here. They were here, but did they ever save anybody, create a better city, a better living condition? No. They made things worse. Always. They lied to the Mayans. They lied to the Aztecs. They have no clue about spiritualism. They have no clue about any kind of a God. So we're really in a bad place right now. And when these big speakers come out and say, well, they're going to come and we're going to be taken to a real beautiful level and world peace, people live in delusions. And their mind is so far programmed to believe it. And all you hear these big name people, and I'll say his name mainly, Stephen Greer, coming out and telling us the greatest story. Come to his big building when it's built to learn how to talk to aliens. Like that's going to help us. Never. I mean, yeah, they might talk to us, but they're not going to say, here, we're here to help you. Why I said the day the earth stood still, can it happen? I say it is going to happen, but it's not going to be anything people want. It's not going to be a fake one because when it happens, you will know it's real. If ships come around the planet like the original movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and they came here and we can't hurt them, you're going to realize we have to listen to them. So when that goes down, which should be soon, Tina will get into it too, around the world, I know here in Hawaii, the UFO world above us is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even go out. I just don't want to see ships no more. I said, you got the balls to come down and talk to me, all right, but if you're just going to shine lights at me, that's okay too. But here, people, if you never, you need to go outside and see one. And don't say, oh, it's everybody's in a paid world of government. Oh, that's a Russian satellite, Russian drone. Really? If they're over us, that's considered a war. They have no right doing that. So obviously, if that was true, we're at war with Russia then. We're at war with China if they can put ships over our White House and ships over things. But they're not. They're not more technically advanced than we are, people. Realize that. And that's why the government's secret. That's not why they're coming out and bragging about everything they do. I mean, it's not for the human race, us as middle class people. It's for the rich people. So get that straight. The Constitution was created for rich people, not us. And if you think they're working with aliens for the poor people, no, they're allowing them to do whatever they want with us. As Tina knows more than anybody else, probably more than 99.9% of the people on this planet. So I do this show to bring truth out, not lies and stories like everybody wants to hear. I'll give it over to you, Tina.
Just a word, really. Okay, so what it is, I've suffered some ill health effects from my encounters over the years. Most serious one, as you can see what's going on now. But other abductees that have come forward are suffering serious health conditions, as I and my partner has. Kim Carlsberg, I'm not sure if you know of her case, is on Facebook. And I see that she'd put up the other day, and she's a friend of mine on Facebook. But she's put up about the distress and time she's had. But most of all, she's backing up what I'm saying and other abductees are saying is the pain, and there's no justification why the government is not helping abductees. She is suffering. That woman, that lady is suffering. She's suffering the pain, and it's the constant health issues and health battles that happen to the body once you've been abducted and taken. It's not like a 5-minute thing and it goes away within a few months of being abducted. It affects you for the rest of your life. And these are the consequences that we're suffering now that we are older. And obviously Kim Carlsberg is suffering the same. So I do send my sincere, best wishes to Kim to get better soon and a speedy recovery, because she's seriously going through it. And there is a point where you do have enough. And I think she's at that point now. You do have enough. People don't understand. It's not a joke. You don't make these things up. These things have happened to us. You've got internal damage, and it's not going to just sit there. As you get older, things grow, things move, things die, things get worse. The treatment you have to have, the causes from that treatment, things are taken out of your body, things are put back in. It's an ongoing battle, and it's a very painful one. And so these people that just make it up and they don't have any medical side effects need to seriously look at people like myself and Kim and other abductees. And I have a few male abductees that have really suffered as well. So it's not just females this happens to, it is abductees straight across the board, and genuine abductees. So I can sympathise with her. And again, it's like Tommy says, everything's coming to a head. UFO sightings are becoming more frequent in Hawaii, are definitely becoming more frequent in Southampton. Things are going on, things are happening, whether it's because of the war in Ukraine, whether it's because the moon is leaving the Earth's orbit, whether it is because something's coming towards us and all the volcanoes are going off, because they do like a volcanicity. They do like they're attracted to volcanism. So it could be that. I don't know. I don't claim to know. I'm just surmising that. So, but something is definitely happening to encourage so much interest in us at the moment. Tommy has, yes, it is actually the USS General R. Ford is been anchored in Portsmouth off the Solent up there. It's too big to come down the estuary, I believe, which is why it's up there. So that's in the UK at the moment. Tommy's put his email up, so if anyone would like to see that. Richie, are you in Southampton at the moment? I'm not sure where your location is in the world, if you're in Hampshire in England or in the US or another country, because it doesn't state where you're from. But yeah, the USS General R. Ford is in anchored off of Portsmouth. And it's Tommy Skype's up there if you'd like to write to Tommy or speak to Tommy. But yeah, so we do have a visit from a great big American aircraft carrier. I think it's an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, first time it came down in 3 years.
Yeah, I've seen the Harold Truman here. I went to see that at the other side of the port, sailing just off the Isle of Wight. That was a few years ago. Oh, right, okay, yeah, in Long Island, New York. Yeah, so
Long Island.
yeah.
Well, I went out to where the ship crashed out there many years ago in 1996, and they kept that whole area for almost a quarter of a mile blocked off for 3 weeks. And they were taking all kinds of stuff out of there while they said it was on fire. They said, oh, it's on fire, it's on fire. It was never on fire. They tried burning some of the evidence, but that didn't happen. But I'm going to get into some things today, which is critical to moving forward in the UFO world. First off is, don't get programmed. It sounds easy. But if you listen to too many people, you start believing it, especially when they start putting the same lie out over and over again. All right. I challenge any one of them. And I'm trying to talk to a few people like that are doing the Skinwalker Ranch and people like that. Not one of them will get back to me.
I'd love to do that, Tommy. I'm interested because they're fascinated about UFOs, what they've seen, and they reckon it's interdimensional travel. Or I think they're onto something there. But I'd be drawn to go to that place. I'd love to go. I didn't need to be filmed. I didn't need to be famous or infamous or whatever. They could, if they invited me there or paid for me to go there, I would go. But I would want to.
I could send you to a better place than there, and it's much smaller.
I'd happily go.
Wait, it's my friend who was killed last December.
Stardust Ranch, isn't it? You said.
Yeah. All right. There's more stuff. It's only about a quarter of a mile from an alien base, and you can hang out at night and see all the ships going up and down all night long.
I don't see about it, but
I'm talking about ships, real ships creeping up and down.
Interested to see what interaction, if any at all, I could get with them.
But she said she kind of cleared up the energy because he had negative entities around the property as well. And he didn't want anybody to remove him. He had all these top psychics come out there. I mean, I did work. I went there with a medicine woman. We did ceremony. His wife was possessed and all kinds of stuff. And the next day, he tried to bring it all back in. I told him to keep the ranch clean of energy, which he didn't do. He figured he can make it like a UFO place and sell it for a super lot of money, which he never did. Even, what's his name? The one that has all the space stations in space, Bigelow. He wanted to buy it, but he wanted to charge Bigelow like 5 times more than the property was worth. So, and Bigelow sold the other ranch. So, at that time, I was out there. He called him and says, "Hey, look, he wanted like $5 million instead of like $500,000 or what it was really worth." So, but again, people are interested, but they're pulling away. Why would he sell that property now when this other guy's doing all this work there trying to find out what's going on? But they know every little. I could tell them 10,000 times more of the information than what they have right now. But, well, we saw a ship. They talk about one little light going across the sky. I mean, they have an energy field there. They don't even know why it's there. I mean, they got lots of little things going on or big things going on. I mean, they had a mutilation there. They have a lot of different things happening. But basically, they're not dealing with what's really going on. Now, when Bigelow owned that, people were killed there. And lots of things, all those stories were kind of suppressed and wasn't talking about it. So when he decided to sell that ranch, this multimillionaire decided to buy it and create his own research. And they're paying millions of dollars for their research. Did you see the rockets and stuff they brought in there? These giant rockets that send them up to test the energy fields. Every time they do it, all their cameras go dead. Everything, these $1 million, this top equipment just goes dead. There's a magnetic field, and 2 of them get sick from it. They try to stop people going from near the certain areas. It's just crazy out there. But again, it should be on, the series should be starting again soon. But I don't
allow the Artemis launch now, aren't they? They said they're good to go, didn't they?
One thing, I think there's a ship there, and they're not going to let them show it on TV. I really don't think they're going to let that happen. They're right over it. And if they start moving around there, they're going to find the ship there. But I don't think they will let them show that. a long time ago, John Edmond, who my friend died that owned the Stardust Ranch, we were going to do a movie on a lake that has a ship in it. Well, out there have a Bigfoot frozen on ice as well, and we were going to do a movie on it. And then all of a sudden, everybody was fighting. My nephew, who was going to do the movie, came down with throat cancer and was dying. Oh, it was a horrible thing the way it just ended. So, the government works in strange ways, and the HARP system, people, is a very, very dangerous weapon. They can go into anybody's mind on the planet, and I'm not lying about that. If you can pull up, which you can't, Jesse Ventura's show when he went to the White House and talked to the person that was involved with allowing them to do all this work with the HARP system. And Jesse Ventura said to him, "Why would you do that?" And they said, "Well, we're just learning and trying to figure out what we can really use this for." They know what they were using it for. All right. And now they're talking about what's happening about controlling earthquakes, controlling tsunamis, and all those kind of things with the HARP system. Never mind what they can do to people. So there's things going on which Tesla's responsible for. Everybody thinks he was one of the greatest people, greatest inventors on the planet. He was not. He worked with an alien race that wanted to feed us information that will slowly destroy us. They want the planet radioactive. And I'm not lying about that either. Ask Tina. She knows what radiation means. Again, she's dealing with it. And I'm surprised she's okay today because, radiation doesn't disappear. It takes 100 years for it to break down. And it doesn't go up and down. It doesn't change. It's not like a yo-yo. So what she shows, what we show on our show, nobody else on the planet can show it or is. And we show it every week. And it's not fake. We got real Geiger counters. She bought the same one I did. And we do it every week. So it's not like it's a fake Geiger counter. We're doing it for money, fame, and fortune. We're doing it because she's radioactive. So people, this is the only show that I know that's giving you the 100% truth. We don't put lies. We don't let people tell stories here either. I'm sorry. We had a person on here going to build a giant city for the UFOs to land and stuff. I wanted them off right away, but Tina wanted them to ask him a question. But I still write him a letter every week. And when I do my show, I said, well, listen to this show today and tell us where you are with your space station that all these aliens are going to land at. Why do people think they're going to come to them? Seriously.
Why do people think that they have a right to be here? Perhaps it's that we don't have a right to be here, but why do they think they're going to be good? Just because they have the ability to get from A to B, whether fly it, transport it, come on a meteor, come on an asteroid, just because they have the capability and the ability of coming to this world and abducting people and animals and taking whatever they want from this planet.
That's pathetic. You're so right.
Think that they are going to be nice.
Go back to the cowboy days and the Indian days. Indians came out with little bows and arrows. What'd they come out with? Cannons. So, if they're coming here, their technology is going to be incredible. But does that make them spiritual or caring or compassionate beings? Did they ever help people? Seriously. I mean, if you go to history, anywhere in history, where does it show aliens came and saved us? They didn't save the native people, and the native people said they worked with them.
And in fact, even if they have done things for us, they haven't told the public. But if you look at, is it the Bay something? There's some tapestries and even wood cuttings from Germany that depicts UFOs fighting in the sky, leaking radiation all across the land and on people and in forests. These things crashing all around the world. So that is basically environmental damage right there. Anyway, just to say, Richie's had a comment, and he's quite right. Several astronauts, I think nearly every astronaut that's been up there swore and have sworn it. Even Russian, American, Chinese, every type of astronaut that's been up there has said that they're seeing things not of this world, things that they can't explain. Yes, Rich is right. Unfortunately, I don't have hundreds of thousands of years to return to a safe level. I'll be lucky to see the next 10 years or 5 years. We'll see how we go. Tim Fallout, hello, sweetheart. We haven't seen you in a little while. Hey again. So much for the summertime. It looks like a white Christmas today. It looks like a rainy Christmas today in the UK, and it is getting a bit cold. It rained for the whole day today, apart from like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's going to continue to rain through the night till tomorrow here in the UK. Oh, Tommy's ringing.
I don't know. My phone's not working. I got to disconnect that.
Is someone wanting to come on the show?
No, not that's my landline.
Did you know here in the UK they're stopping all landlines? You can't have a home phone.
Because they don't want people to be able to talk without people listening in.
Well, I don't know, but mine went a couple of months ago. My mum's goes soon, so yeah, no one in the UK will be able to have a home phone.
For them to stop that, what's your phone company called out there?
We have lots of. I'm not going to mention them for legal reasons.
You don't have a main phone company out there?
You can choose who you want. There's a few, and they're all just as worse.
Well, see, here in the United States, we have like 3 main ones, and they're subsidized to other ones, and they take other companies in.
Oh, we have about 4 here in the UK, 3 or 4, and they're just as useless, as each other, really. But where I live, signal's absolutely horrendous. You either got it or you don't. And as soon as there's a power cut, we're off there. But yeah, if any of you would like to come on, you can message us, message Tommy, email Tommy, or call into the show, come on to the show. But if you have a question you like answered, please speak to me or Tommy. But Tommy's been on the money tonight, and a lot of other shows. Tommy's been. People just look at different things and see person argumentative, but we're asking the right questions. If you don't think we're asking the right questions or the right perspective, let us know how you see it from your perspective. Tommy's telling you from his experience and his perspective, and I think he's right. At least 80 to 90% of the time, a lot of things he said is bang on the money. It's just Tommy puts things differently across for me. I'm
hardcore. I don't do it simple. I don't make it sound nice. Nothing's nice. If it's nice, it's nice. But if it's not nice, I'm not going to make it nice.
We're not scientists. We don't round it up. Tommy's the same. We just tell you as it is and what we've experienced. That's all we can do. And the rest is...
I had to deal with this guy this morning on I don't even know, Twitter or Facebook, one or the other. And he said, well, it has to be your way. I said, no, it has to be true. And I said, all the experiences coming out and saying these great stories, you're talking about aliens and everything like you were next to one. You never even saw an alien. You were never next to a ship. How can you talk about it?
I mean, you look at
something.
Prince Carlsberg's come forward again, and bless her. Her story is her account. I shouldn't say story, but her account. Look her up on YouTube. Look her up on the internet. Her account is spot on. And what I mean by spot on is, people think it is different for everyone. It's her account. So my account is what's happened to me. Her account is what's happened to her. She doesn't surmise about anyone else's account. She tells you how it is for her and what's happened to her. I tell you how it is for me and what's happened to me. And we both have the same outcome. So she lives in a different country, miles and miles and miles away from me. This happened at different times. We're both having the same medical outcome. That's got to tell you there's more than one link, and there's more, not just me and her, there's other abductees and people that's been living with abductees that this has happened to. So come on, people, wake up. Just because we're not test pilots and this hasn't happened to them, if it hasn't not come forward, we're just normal everyday people, housewives or house husbands, everyday run-the-mill working people, and we're telling you this is happening to us. You know, we're tax-paying citizens that are being treated like cattle, and we're not getting our money's worth. We're not being protected. We're not getting medical help. And if you think coming forwards is fun and makes you money, it's not. It puts you in the firing line of everybody. The people threaten you. People take the mickey out of you. We don't care, but most of all, nobody's there is helping us. And this thing hurts. Look, it is painful. You have medical procedures done to you. You have bits of your anatomy taken away. And it's not an easy fix. It's something that goes on throughout your life. And it's very, very painful, physically and mentally. And people don't seem to understand that. I wouldn't be sat here moaning, oh, well, I've lost 2 teeth. I've lost some hair. It's not grown back. I'm in pain. I've had to have a hysterectomy. I've had 3 emergency operations. I've had other parts of my body taken out. I've had lumps taken out my body. I've had all types of tests and things done to me. You want to volunteer for that? And then what they do to you on these ships is even worse than what the medical profession in here on Earth is doing to you. There is no recourse and no help for abductees, and there should be. They should be held accountable here on Earth as they're whatever they're doing up there. If they come forward, like there's these nice aliens that people talk about, if they actually came forward and said, who would like to volunteer to donate DNA tissue, I would not have a problem with that. But they're not doing that. And these people seem to think we're being evil and talking out against these aliens, which they've never even met, saying this isn't true, this isn't happening. This is true, this is happening. To my knowledge, there is no good aliens. Well, maybe, but I've not yet met Tommy.
Well, people, I want to say this to all the UFO people, speakers, named speakers, and everybody else in between. I had my first experience when I was 6. Tina had hers when she was really young. Usually, and it's kind of true, most people that are involved or got involved were pulled in when they were young. All right. After that, I can tell you, and I'm not making this story up, all my life was basically 2 things. I was on a spiritual quest, which was one thing, but I always followed the UFO stuff going on in my life and started working with that level. I started doing hypnosis at 14. I started doing past life regression with people that were abducted when I was 17. I did psychic implants for people that were abducted by the time I was 20. All right. Now, people, how many people could say that? And I'm going to be 70 in a month. So I'm talking a long time ago, before the UFO world was even anything people wanted to even talk about at any level. So when I was working with women that proved they lost their child when I was 22, 23, they showed me the sonograms, whatever they called it, the x-rays of the baby and all that. Yeah. And they went to the hospital the next day, and the hospital said, you're not pregnant. You don't have anything going on in your body. The day after, she had the baby at almost 9 months pregnant. And I met 3 women like that within 2 years.
And I have, if you go online to the Southampton case files, the BFOG, Birmingham UFO page, hold, and look up Southampton case, you'll see my medical discharge notes from Southampton General Hospital and the Princess Anne Hospital after my hysterectomy, telling you that my pelvis has been obliterated from left to right with thousands of puncture marks all over it. So,
well, I want to bring up a name real fast. Gary Nolan, he's a really high scientist. The government went to him. I mentioned it a while ago. They gave him 100 UFO abductee stories and names and pictures and all that to analyze to see if they were really abducted. He came up with 70% of them have some kind of mental problem, and 30% of them were probably abducted. I just wrote him a letter today, and I said, do you really think you have a clue? Were you ever next to an alien? Do you know what their vibration is? Do you know what it would do to you if you actually stood next to one? What would you believe after you actually saw a real alien, not a man in a puppet suit?
It's the medical consequences, yeah.
You can't say you know something until you experience. Now, the other thing I want to bring up, like, well, they got a hair. Oh, it's a Bigfoot. Well, no, this is a bear hair. Do they know what a Bigfoot's hair is supposed to be? No, they don't. So to say it can't be a Bigfoot because it's a bear hair, no, they don't know what kind of hair it has.
But they could be, look, we're human beings supposedly related to apes. So, it's not impossible that they could even have human hair on them, or bear hair, or ape hair on these animals. They are they're bipedal. They're 2-legged.
Well, supposed to is a really pathetic word.
So are great apes. So are human beings.
We're not part of the ape family.
They're somewhere along the evolutionary chain.
See, I don't believe in evolution. It's a complete lie.
Well, there is that. Why do human beings certainly have born with apes and have hair, suddenly lose hair, but apes never lose hair?
How did a dolphin get a human brain? All right. I mean, there's a lot of things that'll throw that theory completely out. And the theory of mermaids did exist. I mean, all those kind of things that slightly they can prove and they don't want to prove it. All right. If they prove Bigfoot was real in the United States, they'd have 50 million hunters going out and hunting them. because I'm sure the first person that could bring a Bigfoot in will get a lot of money. I
Yeah,
know a
poor
person
thing's
that
going to get
had
shot
one.
for just living.
Well, he claimed it. He brought a hand out and a foot out, and each one weighed like 25, 40 pounds, up to 40 pounds. But they never were allowed to analyze it. So yeah, they disregarded it anyway. But the truth is out there. I almost came close to exposing a couple major things, and it's not even the government that stepped in and stopped it. The person I did all my UFO work with, Sargel 18, has changed his name to Lord Sargel, people. All the things we did in the past 25 years were take videos he put up and we did and he did are gone. Check his sites. You can still find his name, but you'll see the videos don't work. And even the TV show, the preview that I show everybody, I have a copy of it. I can only show things to people on a personal level because everything we did, he copyrighted. If I use one picture that he copyrighted, he'll try to take me to court every which way. I mean, I could show you things on a personal level, but here's people like I'm trying to get in touch with these big name people in the Stardust Skinwalker Ranch. They don't want to get involved with the truth. They'd rather play with a little dot in the sky going back and forth. Not a real alien, not a real ship, not anything really important that you can see is something different. And triangle ships, people, are not definitely UFOs. I was in Hawaii. We have a triangle ship right here. We have the most advanced Army, Navy, Marines. Well, I don't know about the Marines, but we have the advanced Army here because Hawaii is the first center of defense for the United States. All right. I was about maybe less than 100 feet from a triangle ship coming outside of the mountain, going over my head. It almost blew my eardrums out. But the sound was directly linked straight down from it because I went into town, which is only a quarter of a mile away. Not one person heard it. But it stopped my cameras from working, so I didn't get pictures of it. But I saw it crystal clear. This nice, beautiful black triangle going over my head, going, Mah! And it was like my ears were like shattering. But people don't hear it. The higher they get up, the less you're going to hear it. I work with a friend who was taken by the you know what. His whole family disappeared. My best friend. I knew him since I was 12. He worked for the government. He worked for NASA. He designed parts for the space probe and everything else. He told me how they make planes invisible. And they have technology that they use. It's a simple technology. In the magic world, they use it even. So, I mean, all these little things manifest into it can't come out publicly. When after we met with him, we were supposed to get together and we were going to talk about creating a private individual city community. And he disappeared. His whole family disappeared. All right. Now, I can go on about all my friends that disappeared, including big names in the UFO world. And
I've just got to let my dog out. Sorry, my dog's at the door. 1 second.
Okay. People like Stephen Greer going on and on with his story, getting money from people to do this thing of like, let's talk to aliens. They're going to save the world, save the planet. No, they're not. If they wanted to do that, they could have did that 100,000 years ago, or even 50,000 years ago, or even 25,000 years ago. But they're not. We're still evil, warring creatures. We're killing each other, abusing each other. Today, Hawaii, we're dealing with child sales and all that kind of stuff. You think we could have moved forward? And if you're a spiritual race or powerful race, don't you think you would stop that? Would you let little kids kill each other? I mean, what kind of conditioning do we believe that they're going to give us when they come here? Nothing good. I can promise you that. I'll put my life on the line for that statement. Not like, oh, they're good. They're going to help us. There's no bad aliens. Well, what's bad and good in your life? Child abuse is good in your life because it's accepted around the planet. Races actually allow sexual abuse to their children and things in certain races. Some children are forced to get married at 12. I mean, there's morals. We don't know what morals are for every country because they all have different morals if you call them morals. So you think an alien race is going to come here with love and compassion and morals to help us? Do what? Build greater ships to get into their world? You think they want us dumb people on their planet? You think they come here to make friends with us and talk about religion like the Pope thinks? They're here for food, people. Everything travels and moves to find better food, better resources. I mean, when what's his name talked about a metal, I guess it's element 115, how it could be
Well,
used.
yeah,
All right, that's technology, but it's not beneficial to us as people.
metamaterial.
They use radiation in a lot of the high tech things. What do you think runs all these satellites and stuff? Batteries? Batteries go dead. Radiation
We're
doesn't.
polluting space as well as the earth.
So you think aliens are going to be friends with us because of that reason? I will tell you this: they will not let us leave our solar system. They will not let us take a chance in destroying or contaminating their multiple realms and worlds that they live in. And they're here. They gave Tesla technology to destroy us. None of the things he's working on is beneficial. Free energy. Why don't we have it? All right. When he came out with it, and no, we don't want to use that. I mean, we had a car that ran on water when I was
Human
10 years
beings
old.
have the technology to send a satellite not only through our universe, through the Milky Way, past all the planets, but they can do it from Earth and still receive a signal back. But we can't get free energy on Earth. We have the technology, they're just not using it.
Basically, everything beyond our solar system
Richie's
is done
right.
with, which is usually done by high-tech laser. They can send a laser beam out into the far distance of space and take pictures with it. Now, we also created directed energy weapons, people. You don't hear anybody talking about that. They use them inside the United States already. And I'm sure
Infrared
Russia
light
and
travels
China
quicker.
knows that. All right. And it's not a good thing. What they did was not good. Pull it up. I'm not going to go into that. Find out the truth, and what's really going on with that. Directed energy weapon. It's real. All right. The HARP system is real. Chemtrails are real. Geothermal is real. Fracking is real. The most dangerous things. You don't hear one person in government ever mention those words. Ever. Al Gore, who created the word about global warming, never mentioned what was causing one thing. He showed all the effects of it. And he was paid millions of dollars to talk about it. So, people, there's underlying things behind everything, but it has nothing to do with helping the human race move forward at a compassionate level. And everybody's saying, we're becoming more compassionate. Who's more compassionate? We got more starving children and being abused children on the planet than we ever did in history. Is that a compassionate people? Do we realize that aliens aren't going to be better than that ever? Or
Well,
even,
I saw something interesting this last conflicting as well. Sorry, Tommy. It's something to do with that. So a few weeks ago on here, I think Tommy mentioned it actually. Is that we now have more missing people going missing more often, more frequently, in larger numbers. Bodies are never found. These people never turn up anywhere. They never turn up on the radar anywhere. They just go missing and that's it. Okay, so just supposing it's an extra 200,000 people a month or a year, it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. That's just in the UK. So where are these people? If the bodies are not being found, they're never found. The UK is a small, tiny island. Their bodies aren't found. The bones aren't found. Never found. Where are these people? Why aren't those questions being answered? And it's a bit like people don't want to look at it. It's a bit like the, just going to use it as an example, the migrant crisis in the US, where one of the governors sent a busload of migrants to this island where all the rich and famous and presidential people lived. They panicked, declared a state of emergency, and shipped these people off. They did something about it. Now, if all these abductees turned up on their little island, would they do something about it? Or would it take these alien beings abducting one of them or one of their children, taking them off for space, having all these experiences and then putting them back? Would that take them to do something like that? They've been to the White House, they're taking human beings. Nothing's been done about that. It's not even been looked at. Help is not being given to abductees in any way. Oh dear, I've just seen the news Richie's put up, sorry. Russian missiles have crossed into Poland, killing 2. Whether that's an accident or how near the border, because at the top of Krakow there, just below Poland, I don't know if people realise it, just below Poland to the right, if my geography is correct, it may not be, is Chernobyl. So I don't think any part of Poland that side should be having any weapons being fired near it or around it. And you must become further east, I suppose, to get missiles across the border, because they should not be firing weapons near a nuclear power station that's already ruptured. So that is very worrying. I'll have to turn the news on in a minute and see what's happened with that. I think Belarus was having problems in the Russian border, but I don't know. You have to watch the news to confirm that. But getting back to what I was saying, what is it going to take? Astronauts say they've seen them. Generals, people, thousands of years people have been seeing them, but no one's doing nothing about it. They're about human species polluting the atmosphere and global warming. Is that down to us? Is it down to them? We've not helped. I freely hold my hands up to mankind as not. We have been our own worst enemy. But we're not the only guilty ones here. If they've been using those machines coming in and out of our atmosphere, like Tommy said, radioactive for hundreds of thousands and millions of years, what damage has that done to our Earth? You know, if you're going to point the finger, make sure it points both ways. These are so many different questions on so many sides that have to be answered and have to be looked at. They can't sweep it under the rug anymore. We know aliens exist. They tell you aliens exist. Abductees telling you aliens exist. There's loads of other questions that do need answering and looking at.
You know, we could be shown some truth. I mean, you don't have to give them the whole picture. You could say, well, we do have good weapons that we got from aliens. That's not going to make anybody, government like China or Russia, know anything that we have. But if you say, oh, here's a picture of our ship and here's
if we truly had good aliens, then I think the government should be obliged to ask them very nicely, in a very nice way, can you repair the damage you've done to these human beings?
Yeah.
If you can't, you should not be doing that.
Well, you know, it's the old saying, if we have to kill 100 people to save 1,000, let's kill 100 people. If you have to kill 2,000 people to save 1,000,000, let's do it. They look at it that way. So the government worked with the alien races. They had to allow them to take people. But how many?
They've been taking people for millions of years.
They were offered, the number that they were given by Truman was 10,000 people a year. It's like killing 10,000 whales a year, 10,000 dolphins a year. There's no way to count it. When a boat goes out and they kill these whales, they'd have to.
What is time to them? Is a year a day to them or an hour? Because I've seen hundreds of people. One of the times they took me, and I was on that travelator thing looking down. Well, I wouldn't look. I was looking ahead, but you could see down. There was hundreds of other people up there. They were all asleep but awake. They were and there was hundreds in one go, and they couldn't have built that machinery, just mechanical thing that I was on, just for a one-off. They've been using that thing day and night regularly. There must have been millions of people on that thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have something so huge to push human beings through. They're testing us, they're using us, and they're taking stuff for a reason. There is a reason behind this. What it is, I couldn't tell you. More people suspect it's for a human cloning program. I've got to agree they want us for something, whether it's because we can talk to them, DNA or whatever. They may be biologically advanced, but not we do something that they can't, so they do need us. But yeah.
I was dealing with Michael Horn for a while, on and off. We were getting into a major battle. All right. Billy Myers showed these videos of these ships going around circles over his house, crystal clear videos of what a so-called ship looked like and all that. Played the sound of them. People created they created groups that prayed with that sound here in Hawaii even. But here's the thing. They don't use those ships. They stopped using them 50 years ago. So when they show you those kind of pictures of the ships that the Pleiadians were using are outdated. We had one. We made one. All right. And it actually flew over California about 2 or 3 years ago. All right. But that's not the technology they're using anymore. Realize when we see technology, it's always 25, 50 years earlier that it was created. So what they're using is not going to be shown to us ever in our lifetime right now. And on mine, I'm 70, so I don't think I'm going to be able to see things they created 50 years ago, that's for sure. But people, when you talk about what the government's doing, they're never going to tell. They can't admit that, or people will have no respect for our government, which they don't already. Imagine they told, well, they were only allowed to take 10% of the people. What? Only 10%? Who came up with that number? But again, the facts are there, people that are there, but the whistleblowers that are coming out and making these stories and telling stories, Project Blue Book, Project Red Book, Green Book, Orange Book, Purple Book, doesn't matter. Do they help us as people? No. Were they beneficial to the human race as a people? No. Is war beneficial to the human race as a people? No. Are weapons beneficial to people? No. All the answers are no. Nothing's good in any part of that. And aliens are responsible for all of it.
You even have, so the Chinese government are very, if you're an official, like a member of parliament or an envoy, an ambassador to China was doing, or at a conference with the Americans. He was abducted at this conference from his hotel room. And he came forward and publicly admitted that and made an abduction case report many years ago. So many years ago, wasn't that long ago, actually. So you can look that up online. So when you have people of that caliber telling you it's happening, just because you only hear about these cases because they are of that caliber, but it's very few and far between that someone will come forward because they don't want to look silly. You have thousands, hundreds of thousands of everyday people coming forward and telling you that. It's just that there's so many that people aren't listening because we're everyday people. It takes someone like that to come forward and people, oh, look, what's happened to him? Is he crazy? This has happened. When you've got someone working in a top-notch government, and even presidents of the United States have made UFO reports. So a leader of the free world and of America and other countries have made UFO reports. What does that tell you?
Tina, I got to mention to you this. It's really important.
Yep.
I don't know what the device you have is compared to the one my partner has. She's not allowed near anything that emits radiation or magnetic frequencies because it could actually change the frequency of that. Seriously. I don't know if the Geiger counter radiates anything dramatic that could hurt that or not. I don't think so.
I don't know. I can use my phone near it, and I can shower with it apparently, and I can use my computer with it. I'm not going to put it near my chest. I'm only going to put it near my head. But we will give it a go. If it starts beeping a lot or I feel funny, I will turn it off. So, guys, a few years ago, I was having some major problems, like hair loss, teeth loss. And Tommy recommended, I thought he was joking, but he wasn't, to go and get myself a Geiger counter. And I didn't have much money at the time. So I looked on the internet. And this is an electrical magnetic radiation tester. I got it on Amazon. It was about £18, I think. The first one was a little bit cheaper, I think. This is it. I've got it on Amazon. This is my second one because my first one dropped, I think it was last Christmas. That's what it says on the back of it. That's what it says on the front of it. And this is how you turn it on. Tommy has the identical one in Hawaii. I'm in Southampton in England. Okay, I'm just looking at it. So it says 0. Tommy's is flashing. And I have a smart screen computer that doesn't emit electrical magnetic signals. Tommy doesn't, which is why he flashes. Now, I'm not going to put this near the side of my chest. I'm going to put it this side. To my head. I'm not going to put it near my chest because it does beep. So it's not actually going, is it? No. I mean, nothing. Now, I'm not sure if that's my device. Nothing is happening every week. Oh, no, there you go. Forehead. If I put it this side, this is a problem.
Well, mine's a 225 on the top and 0 on the bottom. But I'm going to do something that's really bizarre. I'm going to move my Geiger counter from my face
there. So
to Tina's face. Guess what? My Geiger counter on the bottom is at 67 right now. I wish I could show it to you from a different angle. But it changes from 1 inch on the screen, which is crazy.
I'm just going to put my head closer to the screen. Well, I'll put this not actually beeping red, so...
So, you know, when I put it in
there you go.
It's kind of.
Now,
I could move it to the other side of the.
only if you notice, it's only going off when it touches my skin there, or it's radiating from a certain part of my head.
Tina, mine's 258 on the right side of the
If it's a
screen.
malfunction, it would malfunction all the time, and it would go off all the time. When it's not near me, it doesn't go off at any part of the house or anywhere else, and it goes off when it got contacts or goes near my head, which means my head would have to emit a signal for it to pick it up. Otherwise, if it was a malfunction, it would go off all the time, no? And you can see the numbers there. Climbing. Now I'm going to hold it away from my head. If it was malfunctioning, it would be going off or shot across the bow. So, yeah. But I found something interesting the other day on TV because I've been off sick, obviously, due to my health problems. I'm just going to turn this off now because I don't want to wave too much.
Right.
I found something interesting. Americans looked at a police and scientific department in America near one of the Great Lakes. Apparently, there's an incident with a UFO, and the police followed it for hours in different parts of the state around this Great Lake. But apparently, this thing landed near a woman, and the woman said it shot a beam of light out and it went through her car. They tested her car afterwards, and they found that there was radiation signal in the car through the glass, like a tube through it, past her wing. So it went through the car at an angle like this. So that's her car. So it went through the car. That went through the car, came out the other side like a beam, and they detected radiation all the way through it. She didn't have any other radiation on her. When they went to test her for radiation, it went through her head, a bit like me. Went through her head. But her whole car, it didn't affect her whole car. It only affected the bit where the light went straight through the car. So that was interesting. But yeah, so if it was malfunctioning, it would do it all the time, and it wouldn't just do it when it was near my head. So it's not touching my skin; it's just an area around my head. It doesn't do it near electronic devices. So make of that what you will. But it's coming up to that time. We've got about 8 minutes left. So I've been asked to do a live interview. They want to record it for TV, I believe. So I'm going to take all my pictures and my medical evidence and documents up to that and have that done. I've got a few hospital appointments next week. But again, I do send my sincere regret to Kim Carlsberg, as she is suffering at the moment. And it does, I can understand her, I can really understand where she's coming from. But with that, just to give you a rundown. So next year in Southampton, in April 2023, at the Jubilee Hall at Bishop's Waltham, 22nd and 23rd of April will be the Encounters Expo. Please come. We have loads of people that will be there. There will be Maria Waitley will be there. She'll be hosting it for us. I will be speaking. Gary Hesseltine will be there. He will be speaking. David Hodron will be there. Andy Thomas will be there. Emmeline Jones will be there. Lorraine Wilkins will be there. Many other people you'll probably see there. Please come along. Go online. Go on my Facebook page. Click on the Wix link and or the Encounters link of the Wix link. To hit my Wix page, and you can scroll down to go to VIP or RSVP. Click on that and you can buy your tickets. They're only £30 at the moment. Running orders should be coming out shortly, but we look forward to seeing you there next year. But between now and then, please keep looking up if you have a question for me or Tommy. Tommy's going to put his email up again. Please come onto the show. If you have a question or an answer from a previous show, please let me and Tommy know. If you have news or breaking news, Richie puts it up there, please let us know. Come onto the show. You can come into the chat room and put it up there. Thank you for the viewers today and people asking questions. I'd like to thank, I've got, someone made me this actually, a lady called Blim. I have been using it. It's a coaster of me and my dog that passed away. And my other female there. It was So she made that for me. Thank you very much. It was very kind of you to send me that. Thank you very much. But from me here in the UK, I'm going to say goodbye to Tommy when he appears in a second. And thank you for watching, and I'll be here next week. But yeah, if you have information, apparently some rumours that there's going to be these new investigations. I still heard what the Senate hasn't come up with from was it this year's in June? They held this the meeting that was televised. That has nothing's come of that as far as I'm aware. So if you do know that, then please let me know. Or let Tommy know. But apart from that, Tommy's put his email up on the screen. Tommy, I'm going to go now. But thank you all. If anyone has any questions before I go, please ask. But I've been Tina Barrett here from Southampton in the UK. ET Girl. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me here every week with Tommy when I'm not in the hospital. And it's been great to see you all again. And I shall see you next week, Tommy. But with that, I'm going to go. And Tommy's just going to come back now. Tommy, I'll see you next week and keep watching.
Well,
so keep watching the show and keep watching the sky, guys.
Well, thanks, Tina, for coming on. Thanks for being healthy. Hope you stay healthy. We'll see you next week.
In the UK. See you next week, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm trying to put something in the chat room. Just let me finish one sentence. It's taking me a while to get this up. All right, I just put something up there about being a high priest. I stopped a long time ago. All right, and at that time I haven't met anybody that was willing to go near me at that time. I'm talking about even in the mob and stuff like that. All right, people. That was Tina Bird, a great person, going through a lot of stuff, going through abduction many times. People, she's real, all right? Not like a lot of the storytellers. She has a lot of proof. The government's even taking proof and not letting her have it, and they have it. I'm talking about what they removed from inside her. They filmed it. She can't even see the film. They won't let her see it, all right? They know what they took out of her. You know, the government knows things, and they feed hospitals and things information. I'm going to tell you a short story, a real one. I was living on Long Island, and my friend I was living with was friends with the multimillionaire who created most of the millionaire houses there. And she said she had to babysit his house. He was going on tour of some country. And she goes, "You want to hang out there?" And I said, "Sure." I went there. They had a steam room, a hot tub, a swimming pool on the roof. Beautiful house, beautiful mansion. But when he came back, I got to talk to him for a little bit. And I mentioned about UFOs. And he goes, "Well, you want to know something funny? I was in this room. Has this big glass window all around his room facing the ocean." He says, "Yeah, I was with my girlfriend. We were making love on the floor right there in front of the window, looking at the ocean and the moon. And they said this giant ship crashed into the ocean. And they said they were both burnt. They were both beet red. They called the hospital up. And the hospital turned around and said to them, 'Take 3 aspirins and go to bed.' Why would a hospital tell somebody saying that they just got burnt to take 3 aspirins and go to bed? Well, they did. They said the next morning they woke up, no problem at all. So they were already informed to do that for anybody that had, whatever you want to call it, radiation poisoning, or it couldn't have been radiation poisoning, but burnt by the beam or light from the ship that landed or crashed into the ocean. So, and I'm sure the hospitals weren't explained in detail why they would tell people to take aspirins, because I know if somebody's really hurt, I'm not going to tell them take aspirins and go to bed. They could wake up dead the next morning if that was anything serious. But when the government gives out information, they give out small parts of it. And usually it's not going to make sense because it's not the full facts of why you're doing something. The same as the underground cities. I mean, Jesse Ventura exposed it. He was one of the main people that actually opened my eyes to it, and the people around him that brought him there and stuff like that. But they're all over the United States. He actually interviewed an ex-missile base where they converted it into an underground city as well. So why are they doing these things? You have to ask yourself, why don't they tell us why they're doing these things? Because it's beyond what we're allowed to know as humans. Right? If they told you they were dealing with alien races and they had to build cities underground so they wouldn't be exposed to radiation and attacks and everything else, everybody would be fighting to get into there. And they're not going to let that happen. When Jesse Ventura did the show on that, I forgot which missile base it was, Thunderbird Mountain. I forgot the name, but he was talking to one of the people that was at the gate inside the base, saying, "Well, I can't let you come in, but I could explain that we'll allow 10,000 people in to this underground city." And this was many years ago. And he said, "Well," and Jesse goes, "Well, what about more people? What about all the other people coming?" Well, he said they won't be allowed in. So you're going to count 10,000 and stop it? He goes, "Yep, that's the way it's going to go down." So if there was a bombing, a radiation attack with the radiation affecting everybody and stuff, people would be out there in the middle of the ground, on the ground, being exposed to this stuff. Will not be helping them about. And that's just one little event. So, I mean, I already talked about what happened on Long Island with the ship crashing out there, and John Ford's in the nut house right now. But things are happening. They can't really cover it up, so they make a super ridiculous story around it. So that by the time you try to get to the truth, you got all these other ideas and everything else that leads you so far away from the main reason what really happened. So Tina's story has never changed. We've been doing the show for 2 years already. And we don't have a lot of following. You know why? People don't want the truth. They like storytellers. I can't be one. I can't lie. I can't twist the story to make it sound good to people. "Oh, you're so nasty. You're so mean." The truth is not pleasant, ever. "Oh, the angels are going to come down and give everybody ice cream cones when they put a gold brick on their doorstep." No, it's not fairyland. Unicorns aren't going to be running down the street and giving everybody rides, and Pegasus is not going to land and take everybody for a trip to Mars. I mean, Storyland is out there. Listen to these people that get our experiences, not abductees. Big difference in the wording. They claim it's all good. Well, most of them do. And that's what people follow. Now, I mentioned Gary Nolan, and he was given all the facts that they had about 100 abductees. I don't know how much he actually got in touch with the people that were alive. 4 people died out of the 100. Some of them were pretty sick. But he was testing their DNA and understanding, trying to prove that cancer effects and things like that on these people. But he still came up with, he claimed that 70% women abducted. You know, modern technology, modern science still has no clue to what a Bigfoot's DNA is, what aliens, well, the government knows what aliens' DNA are right now. And they know, well, I'm not going to get into how they know how to kill certain races and all that, but it's all out there already. It's like when you fight a war, you got to know everything about who you're fighting, what they are, how they live, and all that. You know, at the same time, people, which Tina's not here, and I know she doesn't like to talk about anything spiritual or not spiritual, but demons and entities and all that kind of stuff. She was talking about interdimensional. Aliens aren't interdimensional beings. Interdimensional beings don't have to travel on a ship, per se. What aliens do have to travel on. Going through a wall and things like that is a secondary transmission, which Tesla even mentioned. So it's not like you become a permanent translutional being that you can go through things and travel everywhere and do all that. No, it's not that simple. But I mean, all through history, even in the religious world, there's people that went through walls and traveled to other places. I mean, the astral body, but manifesting their body somewhere else, and those kind of things. Were they superhuman? No. That's part of the human trait, which has been taken away so that we are not aware of it anymore. And we're not really allowed to use it. But then you got people like Corey Good, not him, sorry, Caroline Corey, who claims she can levitate a piece of paper. All right, change people's DNA. Like anybody on this planet has the right to change somebody else's DNA. No, they don't. Now that China and has a right to clone humans and animals together, we're going to see sick reality. And it's not going to get better, people. I'm sorry to inform you the truth, not lies. I could say Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are going to come for real and make friends with everybody, like Sergeant 18, who I work with, claimed. He took pictures of and all that, which was when I started pulling away from being close to him and accepting what he was saying. Over the years that we were together, he always claimed he was going to bring the alien race to the White House. All right. He was given a check of $45,000 when he brings the aliens here to bring them to this person first. So, I listen to people. I listen to what they think and believe and accept. It's called lies. There's very little truth in anything out there, people. If you had the truth, you wouldn't want to be staying on planet Earth. And that's why the word Satan was here and why demons are here and all that. To keep Earth in hell or as hell. Whether you like that wording or not, you don't believe in hell, but you believe in angels. You don't believe in aliens, but you believe in angels. Or you believe in aliens and you don't believe in angels. It's all real, people. But how they affect different people is different. People are still being possessed on a yearly basis. A friend of mine does about 300 a year, depossessions, exorcist, the right word for that. I was doing implant removal, psychic implant removals, so that they couldn't be tracked and everything, which worked for the people that I did work with. So, technology is good in one way and bad in another. Thinking high technology like what the United States wanted from Tesla got from an alien race, what other countries are trying to get and use and everything, is not going to be beneficial to the human race. Directed energy weapons, laser weapons are dangerous. Chemical weapons of any kind are extremely dangerous. More dangerous than a nuclear bomb in a lot of different ways. Again, I mentioned we just don't have to worry about nuclear bombs. There's atom bombs, proton bombs, electron bombs, and they each do different things. When if you wanted to put out a whole country, you just wipe out their satellites. So, we're creating a world to make it more easy to take us out. I'm talking about the whole planet. If alien ships just went out and blasted all our satellites, guess where we would be? Well, probably the one that would be on top would be China. Because right now they care more about creating human armies than technology weapons. Even though they're testing weapons and sending it through space, you think that a missile really could hit the United States if they didn't want it to now? I mean, when the fleets of ships went over the White House in 1952, when I was born, they couldn't do a thing about it. Again, they worked with the ships, they worked with the aliens and stuff, so they know the weaknesses and all that as well. But in war, you have to stay close to your enemy. You have to understand them and know them. You got to realize and understand, like, well, these people are going to do this or they're going to do that. The same with aliens. They watch us for reasons. They know we could attack them, and we did, people. We had 3 major wars in space that I know of. I actually saw one. Are UFO people talking about that? No. They're still trying to prove a Tic Tac's real. Wake up, people. The truth's there, but you're not going to accept it because you're already programmed with 50 million lies that you want to believe. You want to believe Jesus is going to come back and rescue you. Really, why would he? People around him then helped kill him. Many of his followers turned against him. And then when he was killed, a lot of them left. I mean, his disciples were even ready to leave and everything. And if it wasn't for Mary Magdalene, they would have all left. People, the stories are twisted by man. Every story is abused and turned around for man, and now it's for money. Let's make this story to make somebody money. Whether it's drinking, drugs, medical field, anything. It's not about love. It's not about compassion. It's not about saving mankind. They're going to try to eliminate the human race in a large number. And that's why I'll mention it again. UN Agenda 21-30. Pull it up, study it, look at it. See what the effects and what's supposed to happen on each level of the phase that goes through. And obviously, we're in 2022 right now, and it's going to go to 2030. So how many years does that leave us? Right? So are you looking what's happening? Do you really care about the truth? Or are you going to listen to the lies? The good aliens are going to come here and save us? Well, I mean, that would be great if it was going to happen. But what could they really do to save us? Threaten people. They'd have to. When a child's bad, what do? You have to threaten them. I mean, we used to get beaten, but you're not allowed to beat your children anymore, but you still have to threaten them. Take their computer away. The number one toy for about, what, how many percent? It's 60, 70% of the planet that are in a phase where they can even afford a computer, that have money, not the poor people on the street starving. They just can't go online and do what they want. No. People, it's a sad world right now. And it's not going to get better anytime soon. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. All right, people, I'm not going to take too much longer. A lot going on here that I got a lot of things to do as well. I spent 3 days trying to get an iPad to work. Changing passwords, changing names from my partner, and it took forever. I was up 3 nights and this, that, and the other thing. And the companies like Apple and Google play games. You think you could change your password? No, they don't even let you do that. We'll get back to you in 2 days and we'll let you know if you can. Let me know if I can. The things that's already in control, like Tina said, they're taking away all landlines. And there's a reason why they're doing that, people. And you really need to think about it. All right, people, the world's changing, and it's not changing for the better. I mean, all the prayers, all the wishful thinking is not helping the people dying right now, today, the children being abused right now, today. So wake up, people. You're in hell, and you're supposed to get out of it, not stay in it. Peace, love, compassion. Don't say you want to live forever. Not here. All right. Till next Tuesday, I will be doing a spiritual show, some on spiritual stuff, somewhere in the next couple of days. So if you're interested at all, want to learn any more about the truth about death, life, reincarnation, birth, all those words, please come on, tune in. Rev.Hawksblood here. I have my shows all on site, on the sites on YouTube. So anything we do, you could see today, tomorrow, or anytime. I pay for that. I pay for a lot of things. I give away my first 2 books if anybody's interested as well. Not about UFOs. I never wrote anything except last year I did a book on how to see a UFO. It's a manual. I mean, I never brought it to full publication either. I'm just about done with my newest book. I need to get it edited. I need somebody that has a real lot of courage to edit it because it's super serious, horrible and good and bad, mostly good and bad, bad and horrible situations. Dealing with them, understanding them, learning to work with them. So many women I had good friends will not do it because they can't deal with that energy. The truth. peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in life. Don't stop until you get it, but don't accept the lies. Till next time.